Nellie sits in Judge Caprio's courtroom facing 2 traffic violations, not wearing a seatbelt, and driving without her license. Simple citations should be straightforward. Pay the fine, learn the lesson, move on. But when Judge Caprio asks what happened during the traffic stop, Nellie says something that makes the entire courtroom freeze. "Your Honor, that officer asked me for money. He wanted a bribe to let me go." A bribery accusation against a police officer in open court on the record. This isn't just about traffic violations anymore. This is about the integrity of law enforcement and the credibility of everyone involved. Officer Rodriguez sits in the back of the courtroom. His entire career just got called into question, and Judge Frank Caprio now has to determine who's telling the truth in a he-said-she-said situation where someone is lying. Hit subscribe right now because 97% of viewers haven't subscribed to my channel, and this case proves why false accusations destroy lives and why the truth matters more than avoiding consequences. By the end of this video, you'll watch Judge Caprio navigate one of the most tense situations he's ever faced, where the wrong decision could either destroy an innocent officer's career or let corruption go unpunished. Here's the question. How do you determine truth when 2 people tell completely different stories? You're about to find out. Tuesday afternoon, 3:30 p.m. Providence Municipal Court.
The bailiff calls. Nellie Martinez. 2 citations.
Failure to wear seat belt. Driving without license in possession. A woman in her 30s approaches the podium. She's calm, but there's something in her expression, a determination that suggests this isn't going to be a simple case. Judge Caprio reviews the citations.
Good afternoon, Miss Martinez.
I see you have 2 violations from a traffic stop last Thursday. Can you tell me what happened?
Yes, Your Honor.
I was driving my aunt to a doctor's appointment. She's elderly and I help her with medical visits. We were on Broad Street when my aunt dropped her cell phone on the floor. She started reaching for it and I was worried she'd hurt herself bending down, so I leaned over to get it for her. Judge Caprio nods following the explanation. And you unbuckled your seat belt to reach the phone? Yes, Your Honor. Just for a moment. I picked up the phone, gave it to her, and was putting my seat belt back on when I saw the police lights behind me. So, you were cited for not wearing your seat belt at the time the officer observed you? Technically, yes, Your Honor, but I had just taken it off for maybe 10 seconds to help my aunt. I wasn't driving around without it. Judge Caprio makes a note. I understand. And the second violation, driving without your license. Your Honor, I have my license. I just didn't have it with me that day. I had switched purses that morning and forgot to move my wallet. It was a mistake. Do you have your license with you today? Nellie pulls it from her purse. Yes, Your Honor. Here it is. It's valid. No issues. Judge Caprio examines it. Your license is current and in good standing. That's noted. Now, Ms. Martinez, Officer Rodriguez cited you for these violations. Is there anything else about the traffic stop you'd like to tell me? This is where everything changes. Nellie takes a breath, then speaks clearly and deliberately. Your Honor, Officer Rodriguez asked me for money during that stop. He told me if I gave him $100, he would forget about the tickets. The courtroom goes completely silent. This isn't a minor disagreement about a traffic violation. This is an accusation of police corruption. Judge Caprio's expression becomes very serious. Ms. Martinez, you're accusing Officer Rodriguez of requesting a bribe? Yes, Your Honor. He asked me for $100 to make the tickets go away. Officer Rodriguez, who's been sitting quietly in the back of the courtroom, stands up. Your Honor, that is completely false. I never asked this woman for any money. Judge Caprio holds up his hand. Officer Rodriguez, I'll hear from you in a moment. Please sit down. The officer sits visibly upset, but following the judge's instruction. Judge Caprio turns back to Nellie. Ms. Martinez, this is an extremely serious accusation. Bribery is a criminal offense. If what you're saying is true, Officer Rodriguez could face criminal charges and lose his job. Do you understand the gravity of what you're claiming? Yes, Your Honor. I understand completely and I'm telling you what happened. Subscribe to Judge Stories if you believe false accusations destroy innocent lives. Judge Caprio leans forward, his full attention on Nellie. Ms. Martinez, I want you to tell me exactly what happened during that traffic stop. Every detail start from when Officer Rodriguez approached your car. Nellie speaks confidently. He came to my window and asked for my license and registration. I gave him my registration, but told him I didn't have my license with me, that I'd forgotten it. He went back to his car for a few minutes, then came back and told me I wasn't wearing my seat belt. Did you explain about helping your aunt? Yes, Your Honor. I told him exactly what I told you, that my aunt dropped her phone, and I leaned over to get it. He said it didn't matter that I wasn't wearing it when he observed me. And then what happened? He started writing the tickets, 2 of them. I asked him how much the fines would be, and he said probably around $300 total. Then he leaned down closer to my window and said very quietly, "You know, if you want to take care of this right now, we can work something out." Judge Caprio's expression is unreadable. He said, "Work something out." What did you understand that to mean? At first, I didn't understand, Your Honor. I asked him what he meant, and he said, "You give me $100 cash right now. These tickets disappear. Nobody has to know." Those were his exact words. "Give me $100 cash." Yes, Your Honor. I remember exactly because I was shocked. What did you say to him? I told him I didn't have $100 on me, which was true. I had maybe $40 in my purse. He looked annoyed and said, "Then I guess you're getting the tickets." And he finished writing them and handed them to me. Did your aunt hear this conversation? She's 83 years old, Your Honor, and hard of hearing. She was sitting in the passenger seat, focused on her phone. I don't think she heard what he said. Judge Caprio makes extensive notes. Ms. Martinez, after the officer left, did you tell anyone about this alleged bribery request? I told my aunt right away, but like I said, she's elderly and didn't really understand. I told my husband that night. He said I should report it. Did you report it to the police department? Nellie hesitates. No, Your Honor. I was scared. I thought if I reported it and they didn't believe me, it would make things worse. So, you waited until this court appeared. Judge Caprio turns to the back of the courtroom. Officer Rodriguez, please approach. Officer Martinez Rodriguez walks to the front. He's in uniform, about 40 years old, the bearing of someone who's been in law enforcement for years. He's angry, but controlling it. Officer Rodriguez, you've heard Ms. Martinez's accusation. I need you to tell me your version of what happened during that traffic stop. Your Honor, I've been a police officer for 17 years. I have never, not once, asked anyone for a bribe. What this woman is saying is a complete lie. Tell me what happened from your perspective. I was on patrol on Broad Street last Thursday around 2:30 p.m. I observed the defendant's vehicle and noticed the driver was not wearing a seatbelt. I activated my lights and conducted a traffic stop. What did you observe when you approached the vehicle? The defendant was in the driver's seat. There was an elderly woman in the passenger seat. Neither was wearing a seat belt at the time I approached. Ms. Martinez claimed she had just unbuckled to help her aunt retrieve a dropped phone. Your Honor, she may have unbuckled for that reason, but the law requires seat belts to be worn while the vehicle is in operation. The vehicle was still running when I approached. Therefore, the violation occurred.
Judge Caprio.
Continue with what happened. I requested her license and registration. She provided registration but stated she didn't have her license with her. I returned to my vehicle, ran her information, confirmed she had a valid license, but it wasn't in her possession. That's a separate violation. Did Ms. Martinez explain why she wasn't wearing her seat belt? She mentioned something about helping the elderly woman. Yes, but the violation had already occurred. I explained that to her. And then I wrote 2 citations, one for failure to wear a seatbelt, one for driving without license in possession.
Standard procedure.
I returned to her vehicle, explained the citations, and gave her the court date information. Officer Rodriguez, did you at any point suggest that she could pay you money to avoid the citations? The officer's response is firm and angry.
Absolutely not, Your Honor.
I never said anything about money. Judge Caprio looks between Nelly and Officer Rodriguez. One of them is lying. The question is which one? Ms. Martinez, you said Officer Rodriguez leaned close to your window and spoke quietly. Why would he speak quietly if your aunt couldn't hear well anyway?
I don't know, Your Honor.
Maybe he didn't know she was hard of hearing. Or maybe he just wanted to be discreet. Did you have your window fully down or partially down?
Fully down, Your Honor.
It was a nice day. Officer Rodriguez, do you have a body camera?
Yes, Your Honor.
All Providence police officers are equipped with body cameras. Judge Caprio's expression shows this is the key. And was your body camera activated during this traffic stop? Yes, Your Honor. Per department policy, I activate my camera for all traffic stops, so there should be audio and video of this entire interaction. Yes, Your Honor, the footage should be available. Nelly's face shows the first crack in her confidence. She didn't expect this. Martinez, if we review Officer Rodriguez's body camera footage, what will we see and hear? I don't know, Your Honor. I didn't know he had a camera. Most police officers do these days. So, if your allegation is true that Officer Rodriguez requested a $100 bribe, that should be captured on the body camera. Correct. Nelly is clearly uncomfortable now. I guess so, Your Honor. Judge Caprio turns to the prosecutor. I'm ordering the body camera footage from this traffic stop to be reviewed immediately. Officer Rodriguez, can you contact your department and have that footage sent to this court? Yes, Your Honor. I can have it here within 30 minutes. Do that now, please. Officer Rodriguez steps out to make the call. The courtroom waits in tense silence. Nelly sits at the podium, no longer looking confident. Ms. Martinez, before we see this footage, I'm going to ask you one more time. Are you certain about your accusation that Officer Rodriguez requested a bribe? Nelly hesitates. Your Honor, I know what I heard. You know what you heard, or you know what you're claiming you heard because you don't want to pay the fines. I'm not lying, Your Honor. Then the body camera footage will prove that. And if you're telling the truth, Officer Rodriguez will face serious consequences. But Ms. Martinez, if you're lying, if you made this accusation to avoid responsibility for your violations, you will face serious consequences. Do you understand that? Yes, Your Honor. Officer Rodriguez returns. Your Honor, my sergeant is sending the footage now. It should be available for viewing in about 10 minutes. We'll wait. 10 minutes later, the body camera footage loads on the courtroom monitors. Everyone can see it. Judge Caprio, the prosecutor, Nelly, Officer Rodriguez, and the gallery. The footage shows Officer Rodriguez approaching Nelly's vehicle. Audio is clear. Good afternoon, ma'am. The reason I stopped you is I observed you weren't wearing your seatbelt. License and registration, please. I'm sorry, officer. My aunt dropped her phone and I was helping her get it. I just unbuckled for a second. I understand, but you're required to wear your seatbelt while the vehicle is operating. Do you have your license? Oh no. I forgot it. I switched purses this morning. Okay, I'll need your name and date of birth then. The footage shows the officer returning to his vehicle, then coming back with citation forms. Ma'am, I'm citing you for failure to wear a seatbelt and driving without your license in possession. The seatbelt violation is $125. Not having your license is $175. Your court date is on these citations. $300. Officer, isn't there anything we can do? Can you give me a warning? I've already written the citations. Ma'am, you'll need to address this in court. Please, officer. I really can't afford $300 right now. I understand, but these are the violations. You can explain your circumstances to the judge. Have a safe day, ma'am. The footage ends. There is absolutely no mention of money, no request for a bribe, no quiet conversation about making tickets disappear. The courtroom is dead silent. Everyone just watched Nelly's accusation get completely destroyed by video evidence. Judge Caprio's expression is stern. Ms. Martinez, we just watched the entire traffic stop. At no point did Officer Rodriguez request money from you. At no point did he suggest you could pay him to avoid the citations. In fact, when you asked if there was anything you could do, he told you to address it in court. Do you have an explanation for this?
Nelly's face is red. She is crying now. Your Honor,
I thought maybe I misunderstood. You didn't misunderstand, Ms. Martinez. You lied. You made a false accusation against a police officer in an attempt to avoid paying fines for violations you actually committed.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
I was just scared about the money. So, you decided to destroy a man's reputation instead. Officer Rodriguez has served this community for 17 years. He has a family. He has a career. And you were willing to accuse him of a serious crime just to avoid $300 in fines. Nelly is sobbing. I didn't think it would be this serious. I'm so sorry.
Judge Caprio turns to Officer Rodriguez.
Officer, I apologize on behalf of this court. The body camera footage clearly shows you conducted yourself professionally and made no inappropriate requests. Your integrity is intact. Officer Rodriguez nods stiffly, still angry, but vindicated.
Thank you, Your Honor. Judge Caprio turns back to Nelly.
Ms. Martinez, here's my ruling. The original fines for your violations were $125 for the seatbelt and $175 for driving without your license. $300 total. Nelly nods, expecting that's all. However, you made a false accusation against a police officer in this courtroom. That is not only morally wrong, it's potentially criminal. I'm adding a $500 penalty for making false statements to the court.
Nelly S.A. Sweden. $500. Your total fine is now $800.
Additionally, I'm referring your case to the district attorney to determine whether criminal charges for filing a false police report should be filed.
Your Honor, please.
Additionally, you will write a formal apology to Officer Rodriguez acknowledging that your accusation was false and that he conducted himself professionally. That apology will become part of the official court record? Yes, Your Honor, I will. I'm so sorry. Ms. Martinez, do you understand that what you did could have destroyed an innocent man's career? That false accusations against police officers make it harder for real victims of police misconduct to be believed. Yes, Your Honor. I understand. I made a terrible mistake. You made a terrible choice. There's a difference. You chose to lie rather than take responsibility. That's not a mistake. That's a character flaw. Judge Caprio addresses the courtroom. Let this be a lesson. False accusations are not just wrong. They're dangerous. They destroy lives, careers, and trust. When you lie about someone in authority, you make it harder for the system to function for everyone. Nelly leaves the courtroom humiliated, owing $800 and facing potential criminal charges. Officer Rodriguez leaves vindicated, but shaken by how close he came to having his reputation destroyed. Subscribe to the narrator right now for more moments when truth matters more than convenience and when lies get exposed by evidence.